Viewers, your host Shiraz Ahmad Khan is here with you. In today's video, we are going to learn a single thing, that is how to divide a document into more than one columns. In order to display the data or present the data in the form of different columns, we have an option with us, and that option is available in the page layout tab of Microsoft Word. And for the sake of practice, you'll have to download a file, and its link is given under the video. I have already downloaded that file on my D drive and in MS Word folder, and the name of the file is practice4.docx. So let's open this file. Viewers, the file is in front of your screens now. Along with this article, that is how to divide a document into columns, we will be learning few more things as well. Like the page breaks and how to remove the page breaks, like the line breaks and how to remove the line breaks as well. Because we are going to give this document a more professional look as compared to the one that is in front of our screens right now. So let's start this process by taking start from the page breaks and the line breaks first. Viewers, let me tell you that what do we want to do with this document. Actually, our requirements are that Chenab College Jung should be displayed on a single page, the main page. We call it a title page, and just under the caption Chenab College Jung, we want to have rules and regulations on its right side. So for that purpose, we'll have to move the paragraphs under it, like the attendance policy, like the unfair means, like access to teachers, dress code, and so on and so forth. We want to move everything else to the next page, and already we are having two pages in this document. So one method is that you can select everything starting from the word attendance policy, and after the selection is done you can cut it and you can go to the second page and you can paste it there. There is another method with us as well, that is what we call page break. Viewers, page break means that we direct Microsoft Word that break the page at this particular point where the cursor is blinking and move rest of the things to the next page. So this can be easily done by pressing a shortcut key, and the shortcut key for page break is Control Enter. But before pressing this shortcut key, make sure that cursor is blinking at the right point. Currently the cursor is blinking before the word attendance, and this is basically the point that we, from this point onwards, we want to shift everything to the next page. So let's press the shortcut key now, that is Control Enter. And once after pressing this, look, everything is shifted to the next page, and now previously we had two pages, and now you can see that we have now three pages in our document because we want to utilize this first page as a title page. So now let's adjust this title, and in order to adjust the title we'll have to increase the sizes of these two captions, two titles and one title and one subtitle, and for that we already know the shortcut keys. So here I'm increasing the size up to the extent so that it looks good. And moreover, along with doing this, let's center align this caption as well. So it's center align now. Now we can increase the page, the font size of this title. Now here we have reached at a point that Jung is it's move to the next page. So let's reduce the size to one or two more points. Now it looks good. Similarly, we want to right align this subtitle. Control R I pressed, and then increase its size as well so that it looks good along with the main title. So now even the right now the situation is that the font sizes are increased, but currently they are not in the center of the page. So here we have, already we are familiar with this key. We usually use enter to start a new line. So viewers, pressing the enter key means that we are directing MS Word that we want to insert a blank line. So enter or the return key is known as the line break key as well, the shortcut key of breaking the line. Breaking the line means that we want to break the previous line here at this particular point and we want to start the new line. But we can use enter and backspace for some other purposes as well. Like right now, Janab College Jung, it's appearing on the very first line of this page. So in order to move it downwards, place the cursor before this title and now press the enter key. Once it is pressed, even then it's not in the center of the document, so let's center of the page, so let's move it one more point downwards. Now to some extent it looks like that it's in the center of the page, so let's press it one more time. So we pressed enter thrice, and with the help of enter key we have successfully placed the title and subtitle in the center of the page, the page number 1. Now it looks like that we have, you can just by using the magnifier you can just check it that whether it's in the center. So let's check it, go to the view and single page, and now let's check it, that is it in the center? Yeah. So now the title and the subtitles, they are in the center of page number 1. Now let's start the next thing, that is how to divide a page or more than one pages or the whole document into more than one columns. And for that purpose, place the cursor before the word attendance and select rest of the things with the help of shortcut key, and you all know the shortcut key, that is shift, control and end key. Now everything is selected from the point where the cursor was, and everything is selected up to the end of the document by pressing the shortcut key shift, control and end. Now in order to divide it into more than one columns, click the page layout tab, and in the page layout tab, in the page setup group or section, the very first one group in the page layout tab, we have the fourth option from the left side, that is columns. So click the drop down arrow of these columns. Here straight away you can see that our document, it has only one column, but you can divide it into 2, 3, left or right or different number of columns. But instead of just exploring these options, let's click the last option of this drop down list, that is more columns. Click this. Why we are doing this? We are clicking the more columns option because it's more powerful tool as compared to straight away selecting the 2 columns or the 3 columns, etc. So here we have, now let's understand this dialog box. From the top frame, from the presets frame, you can choose the number of columns, and the preview shows you that how your document will look like after selecting these, any value from these preset values. So let's choose the 2. Automatically after choosing 2, the number of columns are increased to 2. Now let's understand these two options. Right to left, let's click it and let's see its impact in the preview. Currently the preview means that the whole document is divided into 2 columns of equal size. If I click right to left, automatically it will start looking like this one. So in order to have a line between a vertical line between the 2 columns, just click this line between options and look in the preview, automatically the line started appearing. So in order, if you want to have line, you can click this, but usually we do not use the lines in between the columns, but we want to divide the page into different columns. Now let's focus on to this area, this frame, width and spacing. For column number 1, the width is set to 3 inches and the spacing, by this spacing we actually mean this space, the spacing between the 2 columns, it's set to 0.5. If you see this option at the bottom of this frame, equal column width is chosen. This is what do we mean by this option, that we want to have more than one columns in our document and we want to have all columns of equal width. That's why these options are, for column number 2, for column number 3, these options are disabled. If you uncheck it, automatically they will be enabled. Now they are enabled, so we can perform more actions like if you want to give more space to column number 1 and if you want to have lesser space for column number 2, then you can set the width through these options. For example, let's increase the width. You are increasing the width of column number 1 and automatically the width for column number 2 it's automatically decreasing, and you can see its impact in the preview as well. I'm increasing the width of column number 1 to 4. So now automatically the width for column number 2 is reduced to 2. So these options are still disabled because we chose 2 columns. So that's why column number 3 is not appearing. If you click 3, automatically these they will start appearing, and you can just uncheck equal column width and they will be available for you. But viewers, let me tell you that we usually it's a general practice, but it varies from person to person or requirement to requirement, that what do we want to have in our document. You can have 3 columns, you can have 4 columns, you can have 2 columns, you need to have different widths and different spacing between column number 1 and 2 and different spacing for between column number 2 and 3. So it depends. You should know these things, but for this video we are just going for 2 columns and we are letting it checked equal column width. So now let's re-understand this concept, that this width means that both of the columns will be of this width and the spacing between the 2 columns, it will be zero point 0.5. Now the last thing is apply to. What do we want? Do we want to apply it to the selected text, or do we want to apply it to the whole document? Viewers, this is very important option, because most of the times the users, they forget to select the text that they want to divide it into different columns, and they if you don't if the text is not already selected, you won't see this option. You will then see only one option, that is whole document. So before coming to this dialog box, the column division dialog box, make sure that you have selected the text. And by the way, if you want to divide everything into more than one columns, then you need not to select anything from the document. In that case, automatically everything will be divided into the number of columns that you are setting or you are choosing. So now let's see its impact. Finally click the OK button. Look, automatically our document, it's divided into 2 columns. Some of the headings are appearing on the left side, some of the headings are appearing on to the right side, and that's it. So viewers, this is all for today's video, that we learned basically one thing, that is how to divide our document into more than one columns, but along with it we learned a few shortcuts as well. So the last thing of today's video, it's something new, but everyone, if you claim that you are a confident user and you have command over the thing, so you should understand these things as well. And being the author of the document, you should understand these 2 things as well. What are those 2 things? I'm introducing you to new terms: widows and orphans. So what are they? A widow means that sometimes it happens that last line of a paragraph, it left by itself at the top of a page. I mean, rest of the paragraph, last line of the paragraph. Suppose if you have a paragraph of 10 lines and only the last line of the paragraph, it is moved to the next page, and rest of the 9 lines, they are on the previous page, so it looks odd. Similarly, and it breaks the, basically what is the drawback of this, that this way it breaks up the flow of the text and tend to distract the reader. So being the author of the document, we should remove the widows and orphans from our document. What is orphan? Orphan means that if the first line of a paragraph left by itself at the bottom of the page, what does it mean? That suppose if you have 20 lines in a paragraph, and the first line of the paragraph, it's at the in the first line of the paragraph, it's at the bottom of the page, and rest of the 19 lines, they are shifted because of the line spacing, or because you mistakenly pressed enter key, or whatever the case is. or after dividing it into two columns, or after setting the page size or page width, whatever you are doing, as a result, if the first line of the paragraph it remains on the on one page, and rest of the 19 lines they are shifted to the next page. So this is, once again, it will distract the reader. It will, the reader will lose its concentration on that particular concept. So it's being author, it's our responsibility. And by the way, the definitions of widows and orphans, they are given on your screens as well in the form of that call out. You can understand these two terms. So now let's go through our document and let's find out that do we have widows and orphans in our document. So in this case, if you have only one line that is broken up and it's shifted to the next line, then we should remove them. Otherwise, it's okay. Similarly, it's our responsibility that if you find any blank spaces after, before the paragraph or in between the lines, so it's your responsibility being author to remove those spaces as well. So here we have an extra space in between the last line of this paragraph and in between this heading, that is smoking. So you should move it to one back line, and this can be done by different methods. One method is you can place the cursor before the word S, the smoking, and press the backspace key, or the second method is you can place the cursor here in that empty line, the white line, and you can press the del key. In both of the ways, basically the line is removed, and now we have widows and orphans with us. Look, this caption is on the previous page, and the details of this heading, group festivities and last gasp parties, the details are given or on the next page. So once again, it's breaking up the flow of reading the text. So this is our responsibility to shift it to the next page. And this can be done by placing the cursor before it and pressing the enter key twice, or you can break the page as well, as we learned the shortcut key at the start of the video, that is Control Enter. So now we have some blank space here, but it is better as compared to the previous scenario. In that scenario, the heading, the title, the subheading was on the previous page and rest of the things are on the next page. So now it is okay from all aspects. So viewers, let's quickly recapitulate that what we learned today. We learned the page breaks, we learned the line breaks as well. We learned the use of backspace and enter key and del key as well. And we learned widows and orphans. And the main thing of today's video, that we learned how to divide our document or completely, or how to divide few page or one page of our document into more than one columns. Viewers, do not forget to subscribe my channel and do not forget to like this video. Hope to see you again. Thank you very much. Stay blessed.